on my way to go pick up my daughter from school and figured I would tell a story about Siddha Ma. When I was formally introduced to Siddha Ma, and some of you have already heard this story, but if you're like me, you like to hear stories over and over again as a reminder of what is possible. It was when I went to India. I was there to experience Ram Dass's footsteps. When he first went to India and met Maharaji, the whole yatra was curated around that and all the different temples that he visited and the different places that he met Maharaji, including up on the hill. And one of the temples, well, that's also where I connected with other people that had experiences with Maharaji. And if you don't know, Maharaji is not in his body, and he is like a saint, very fully enlightened being. If you ever listen to any of Ram Dass's story, who's Ram Dass? Ram Dass was a spiritual leader, a spiritual teacher that went to India in the 60s, I believe, and met Maharaji and got his mind blown, really. He went there as a psychologist, as someone that had a very science-based mind, but had had some experiences with psychedelics that really changed his mind about the reality, the nature of reality. Anyway, so he explored. He met Maharaji. Those stories came back, so on and so forth, right? And so I was going to India to have a deeper understanding, deeper connection with Ram Dass, and come to find out Maharaji, right? And we went to one of the temples where Maharaji used to stay a lot. And he had a room there that they called his office. And so that room was open, which rarely was it open to visitors. So that was really special. We got to go inside, and there's something called his tucket, which was kind of like a platform or kind of like a bed-ish that he would sit. And there was a window that looked out over like the courtyard where people would come and sing to Maharaji. They would sing the Hanuman Chalisa, the Westerners, they were called, Ram Dass and crew, Krishna Das, Raghu, Marcus, etc. And they would sing the Hanuman Chalisa. And it was a pretty big group of Westerners at that time that grew going there and connecting with Maharaji, because it was like a feeling of just real, unconditional, pure love, like the love that you dream of. The love that you might get from the absolute best mother, since we're talking about the Divine Mother. If that existed, it's hard because we're in human form. But Maharaji, he was a yogi, so he practiced the siddhas, I'm assuming, and, developed these powers, and he really, and made probably, obviously, from birth, he was an embodiment of pure love. And that was the experience that people had when they were around him, or when they looked at his picture, when they thought of him, etc. And that happened to be my experience as well, which was very different and mind-blowing from anything that I had ever experienced in life. Thinking that, love, to have your heart completely, ripped open to even more love, your whole being, right? It's like what we are. To have that feeling revealed that everything is love and everything is connected is, it's life-changing. So I'm in his office thinking, I'm not leaving this place. I am not leaving. I'm going to sit here and meditate for as long as we're visiting this temple for, because this is a rare opportunity. So I sit down, I get cozy, I sit up against the wall, I have my journal, and now maybe I didn't even have my journal. I don't even know, but I'm sitting there. After having had cried, right? There was so much crying in India because it's just you're so connected, plugged into the pure source of love and truth, and it's really somewhat unexplainable, but I'm sure some of you have had this experience. Sort of like the unabridged version of seeing a beautiful view, right? Seeing being at the top of a mountain, or looking at a huge mountain, or a sunrise, or a sunset, or a newborn baby, or whatever. Something that's very moving and it's visceral. So I'm in the room, settling in. I'm going to be here for as long as I can. When in my mind, and I'm not this person, I don't have these experiences. I'm a very meditate, and I'm in my body, and I don't see colors, or once in a great while, but I'm not one of those visual people or auditory people. I don't have crazy experiences. Purposefully, to some degree, but I think just naturally too. I'm more kapha energy, grounded. So Maharaji's voice enters my mind. Never heard his voice, but whatever. Yeah, Maharaji's voice enters my mind, and it's go to Siddha Ma's temple. What the hell? What? Ignore. I'm ignoring. Sit. Okay. Settle in again. Go to Siddha Ma's temple. Go to Siddha Ma. Relentless. Go to Siddha Ma's temple. Go to Siddha Ma's temple. Go to Siddha Ma's temple. Finally, I'm this is totally not relaxing. And it's Maharaji. All right, I'm going to listen. I don't know really anything about Siddha Ma. A little bit, not a lot. That's not who my connection was with at that time. So I get up and I walk down the corridor, the outdoor. The temple's open air, and there's the big temple and then little temples within this space that's kind of outdoors, but the corridors are marble or something like that. So I walk down to Siddha Ma's temple, and I walk in, and I don't know how to do the things. I'm not real privy. I didn't pay attention maybe. I don't really know. So I'm I don't know how to go through the procession, how to do things the right way. So I'm just going to tuck myself into this space up against the wall, away from everyone, and whatever. Let them judge the American. That's not really happening, but I just felt uncomfortable because I don't really know. And so I sit down and I get comfortable there. I'm all right, I'm here. And I close my eyes and begin to meditate and just be in the space. And then Siddha Ma's voice comes in and starts talking about being the mother. That's all I remember from that, is hearing that over and over again. Be the mother, be the mother, be the mother, be the mother. And I still don't really know what that means, but I'm beginning to connect some of the dots, right, with divine feminine energy, Shakti, kind of the direction that I want my life to go in. It's a really interesting, of course, profuse crying, and a very deep experience that changed the fabric of my being, and that I continue to explore almost 7 years later. And like I said, it's revealing itself little by little. And as I connect with female teachers over the years of the sacred, deep sacred practices, it begins to make more and more sense. Like Akarya, Shunya, and Shantala. I have to get her last name. I saw it today in class. I gotta write it down so I can try to pronounce it, but it's called Veda Studies. And Nina Rao and Siddha Ma. And so connecting with these wisdom holders, elders, it's been really important to me lately in who I want to be in the world, how I want to exchange energy, and how I want to view the world, etc. So that's my story. And like I said before, we all have the divine feminine within us, no matter how we identify. And so we can begin to connect and explore that energy through creativity, through the breath, through our intuition, through energy. And it's important because it's been in the shadows for a long time. And so now we bring it into the light and allow it to radiate that light of compassion and love and power, compassionate power into the world. So thanks for listening if you did, and I'll see you in the next video.